Hey friends, long time no see. Yesterday I recorded a day in the life of a modern homesteader and I can't wait to share it with you today. I'm wearing my awesome t-shirt from the Modern Homesteading Conference that I went to back in June, located in Idaho. It was a ton of fun and that's one of the things I've been up to lately, but now I'm going to show you what we've been up to on the farm. I want you to keep in mind that during the summer I have summers off, so I get to work on the farm full time. However, both my husband and I do work full time during the school year. So I work in public education and I'm lucky enough to have the summers off. I hope you enjoy this video of what we've been up to, and we look forward to catching you up with other projects on the farm. Good morning, friends. Today's July 26th and I'm out here this morning. My kids are still sleeping and I am getting started on my garden chores. It's been a long time since I have taken the time to make a video to update you on what we've been up to. So what I'm going to do today is just give you a little bit of a day in the life of me and my family as we keep up with our garden in the middle of the summer. So what I'm up to today is resetting these, well, multiple rows here in the greenhouse. So this row has never really taken off. These two rows have really struggled, but I need to do a little reset there. So I'm gonna get all these weeds cleaned out. Need to put wood chips on this row. We've got the other rows wood chipped. Oh, good morning. Then I'm going to plant some lettuce alongside this row of tomatoes. And then I don't think I'm going to get to anything over here in these two rows today. We've recently harvested a bunch of food from here and sold it at the farmer's market. All right, well, I just, before I really even got anything started here in the tunnel, took a break, got the kids breakfast, got a sweater on because it's actually surprisingly cold out this morning, and my box of seeds so that I can plant these rows that I'm about to reset. So I'm going to start with this row down here with my tomatoes. I had planted, let me set these seeds down, then we're going to talk. So I had planted some lettuce in a fast ditch effort before we went on a vacation and thought that none of them had germinated at all. Well, I've got from which is really disappointing. I've got like 3 little seedlings that have appeared. I don't even know where the third one is. Oh, there it is. It's hiding because it's red. So I'm actually going to replant this whole row. My hope is that they will stay shaded and cooler from these tomatoes and we'll be able to get a row of greens in. Before I planted the lettuce seeds, I went through and did just a little bit of pruning at the base of the tomatoes. I've been pruning these pretty heavily, but they needed some extra pruning to open up the base of the plant to let some light in for the lettuce seeds. Okay, friends, I'll admit that was a bit difficult for me because I really wanted to prune the tomatoes. But what I'm doing here is not pruning tomatoes. I'm preparing this space to plant some lettuce that really needs to be planted. So I don't know about you, but I sure do get distracted sometimes when I'm out in the garden and working just on any task. And when I see something else, I just want to do that at the exact same time. So I reminded myself I'm not here to prune the tomatoes. Yes, they need to be pruned, but it's not what I'm doing right now. The lettuce variety I'm planting today is called Salanova. It's a variety from Johnny's that's really fabulous. It's a pelleted seed, and I got it at a seed swap, which was amazing because it's a Kind of an expensive seed, but I love what it produces. It is now at 10:40 in the morning. I've done a bit of gardening, hung out with the kids, played a board game. I was going to get going on my microgreens for the day, but I got that call from the post office, and our broiler chicks are here down at the post office. So I'm going to quickly set up our brooding chamber. It's not a chamber, what the heck, a brooding area. And what I've got today is this steel water trough, and I don't always do this, but I have some leftover puppy pads that somebody gave to me a long time ago, and I'm going to be using these in addition to some stall pellets instead of shavings, just because it's what I have, and these work really well for the first few days, up to a week for the chickens, and it just kind of helps absorb their the liquid part of their poop. So I'm not necessarily saying that this is the best way or the way that you should do it if you're brooding chicks, but this is just the way that we're doing it right now because it's what we have available. Next up, I'm going to put in their warming plate. So this is heated on the bottom side, and it's pretty large because we have we brood larger groups of chickens, and so it's going to take up a majority of the space in here, but it's not necessarily taking space away from the birds. Just to clarify, I am going to lower this. Right now it's at its maximum. So there's these nice little buttons that you can just adjust and slide it for easy adjustments as they grow. We're going to get this plugged in now so it can start warming up, so it is up to temp once the chicks get here. Next up is their water, because that's something we're going to want right away. I'm going to hold off on food because they don't need that quite as fast. And this is just water with a little bit of apple scrap vinegar, similar to apple cider vinegar, that I made last fall. So here is what their brooder space looks like. Not a lot of open space outside of this, but that's okay because we want them to be really warm for their first week and cozy, and we've got a larger space that we will upgrade them to once they grow a bit. Well, now we need to go to the post office and pick them up.
Hey, just chilling with my chicks.
We just got them from the post office. What do we need to do once we take them home?
Get them out of this stinky box.
Yeah, does it stink?
No,
Oh,
I
that's
guess.
good. All right, well, we better get going.
Yep.
Neither of the boys were interested in putting the chicks into the brooder, which is disappointing because I think it's one of the funnest parts of raising chickens. So these chicks are from Jenks Hatchery in Oregon, which is south of us. We're in Washington, and it's one of the closest hatcheries for us, and so I really like using them because the chicks get here really fast. They were just hatched yesterday, and they're here today. Here's the cuties. There are 30 Cornish cross in here. I'm going to dip their beaks into water one by one and let them get acclimated to their new brooder. I was able to move the heat plate. It just barely fits in the middle there, having it perpendicular to the edges, which gives them a lot more open area to get away from the heat if they want to be away from the heat, but also a good spot for their feed. So they are settling in really well. And now the boys and I are off to our next adventure for the day. After we brought home the chicks and got them in the brooder, the boys and I went to the feed store, and we're going to show you a little bit of what that looks like right here. I feel kind of awkward recording video at public places, but it's a really wonderful feed store, and I just wanted to show you a little bit of it. Look at all the plants they've got. And there's 50% off sale. Is that for cats?
Yeah.
Brush and scratch. Oh, cute. Wonder how much it costs. It's $30. I think we're good. I think our cats are. It's half off of $30. What's half off of $30? 15. Yeah?
It's 15? Yeah. I think they can just like sit on it. And
Ooh,
like we can
ants are on sale.
the scratch part off and just rub it against their backs. I think Frankie would like that.
Yeah.
If we just took the scratch part off and just rubbed it on his back.
Look at all these taters. They're a little old.
They're poop potatoes.
You're crazy.
I think Frankie would like that only if we took the thing off and scratched it on his back.
Yeah.
He would just start
I think they'd like it, but I just don't want to spend $15 on it.
Those old potatoes, they look like a rotten bread.
Oh, sold out. I hear some over here.
Yeah, they're the cheap ones.
Yeah,
They're
hello.
also the Flash.
This is a big stock tank. That's a good one.
Wait, why are they They're the Flash, even though I'm faster than them.
Okay, all we need is feed, right?
Yeah,
That's all we
I
need.
think so.
All we need is feed.
If we might need that back scratcher.
No, we're not going to get the back scratcher. Once we left the feed store, we hit up the library together, and then we went to the grocery, and the boys really wanted this thing called a Grimace Shake that McDonald's serves, apparently in celebration of this character's birthday. So we are going to make a Grimace Shake, and we went to the store to get some ice cream, and while we were there, they had organic strawberries on sale. So, what you doing, Kellen?
Just acting like a chicken.
So, I missed strawberries, local strawberry season around here. It was right when school ended, and I was way too busy to think about buying strawberries. So I scored these. You could buy 5 of them with the coupon. So I've got 5 pounds of organic strawberries. And, well, if you're gonna be a chicken, can you at least lay an egg in here? All right, so I've got 5 pounds of strawberries. I'm going to soak them. I can't find my big bowls. All my bowls are busy. So I'm just going to use this inner pot of this pressure cooker I have. So I'm going to rinse them and soak them in vinegar water for a bit and then lay them out to dry. And we're going to be doing quite a bit of kitchen work here in the next little bit of time. We can't see you, honey. Whoa! You really did lay an egg. Wow.
Hit the door again.
What have you been working on, buddy?
X-Wing! It's Lego.
Yeah. You've been
Look.
having fun with it?
Yeah, and look, there's these 2, like,
Blasters?
stud blasters, and look.
Uh-oh. I think it's on. Okay, you don't want to lose them all. The strawberries are washed and been soaked in a little vinegar bath. Now I'm going to lay them out on a towel so they can dry.
No, I don't want strawberries. No.
I was just about to get started on this bread, but I hear a truck or something, and it might be our Harvest Host campers for the night, so I'll be back. All right, I am back and finally ready to make this bread. I actually made the dough up this morning. I didn't take the camera out to show you, but now I'm gonna make it. I just checked in our Harvest Host guests for the evening. We've been doing that for a while and love it. They are essentially just people that camp on our property and then purchase farm products and things that we sell. So it's been really cool. Now, this bread, this is for dinner tonight, so I need to get it cooking. I just preheated the oven to 450 and have a cast iron Dutch oven in there with the lid on, and I am going to make a ball out of this dough. Whoop. And this is a super easy recipe. This is pretty much my standard go-to bread recipe for an artisan type dinner loaf. And I get it from Recipe Tin Eats. I think it's the world's easiest artisan bread, I believe is the name of the recipe. So I'm gonna just get it shaped into a loaf and get it into the oven. Tonight we're having steak. I forget what kind of steak it is, but from our half beef share that we purchased probably a little over a year ago. So we're gonna have that, we're gonna have this bread, and then we're also gonna have green beans that have been in the freezer since last summer. So it's time to get those finished off, so we've been eating them quite a bit. I'm pretty liberal with my usage of flour when I roll get the loaf ready. It just works for me. And what I'm doing here is just folding it inwards, getting these bubbles popped. I'm then going to put it on a piece of parchment and then get that Dutch oven out of the hot oven. And then the bread is going to steam in the Dutch oven to give you that nice chewy, crusty top. So I've got the loaf on this parchment, and then I'm gonna take out the Dutch oven. I don't score mine. Actually, I could. Well, I don't really have a good knife for it, so I just let it do its thing and break apart however it wants to. All right, so still got some more kitchen tasks to do, but what I really need to finish for the day is working on my microgreens. I'm doing an event this Sunday for our downtown Chamber of Commerce does a weekly Sundays on Cole Street event, and the theme for this week is local farmers. So I'm going to be hosting a booth there and teaching people about growing microgreens, and then also selling whatever products we have available that day. So I need to work on that, but I want to get my kitchen stuff done first because I currently do all my microgreens work in the kitchen, so it also gets a little busy and messy in here. So next up, I'm gonna get the steak out, I'm probably not even gonna marinate it. I'm gonna get the green beans out, let them thaw a little bit because I prefer to cook them that way. All right, friends, here's my green beans from last year. They've been in the freezer since September 2022, so they're not a year old yet, so I'm not feeling too guilty. I like to let them thaw a bit so that they cook just a little bit more uniformly, and I like to cook my beans fast and hot. Plus these have been in the freezer for a while, so they are a little extra squeaky. So I'm just gonna set these delicious things aside, and I've got my meat out. We've got T-bone steaks. These I bought, we bought a half cow, grass-fed, and he's for you local friends. Well, the company, not just he, I'm sure there's more than a he. They are out of Snohomish and raise beef for public sale. And this is the second half of cow we have purchased. Oh, yum. If you're a vegetarian, I apologize, but this is going to be really good. Right now, Bill is out doing some weed whacking and cleaning up our incredibly weedy patio, but he's going to be excited for these steaks. We're going to grill them up on the barbecue here in a little bit. We're just going to let them come to room temperature and then season them a little bit, and then we'll get the green bean going. And the bread is done. I've got to show you the bread. It turned out great. I like to really dry off my meat well with paper towel before seasoning and cooking it. I'm just making all sorts of a mess over here with these beauties. Ooh, they look good. Here is the loaf. It is super crunchy. I'm super pleased with how plump looking it is. It rose really well. And it looks like it's going to be great dinner. It's already cooling down on the exterior. One thing I really struggle with baking bread is baking it so that the outside is done how I like, but then the inside is also done enough. Usually the inside feels like it could be cooked longer, but that always just takes practice, and every time is different because the consistency of your dough, whether it's a little more moist or dry, can change it every time. There's Bill out there. So he just got to the patio with the weed whacker, and now he's coming through with a flame torch and is going to give everything a little scorching. We're really trying hard to manage our property without synthetic herbicides, but it really got out of control this year, and particularly that patio, and then also the gravel area around the barn, and our whole driveway is just full of weeds and grass, and not the way we like it. Okay. Ooh, let's see, is he getting started? Oh geez. What's he doing? Oh yeah, it's a really weird pointed. I hope he has some water. Well, he's gonna appreciate a good dinner because it is hot out there. For our seasonings today on Bill and my steak, I use this Kinder's organic caramelized onion butter seasoning. I love it a ton. It's from Costco. Costco carries multiple different types of this Kinder's seasoning. Most of them are organic, but they're not always, so check that if it's important to you. And also it often goes on sale, and when it is, that's when I stock up. So this big container was probably about $5. For the kids, I was giving them some seasonings that they can't see and complain about. So we have onion powder and garlic powder, and kosher salt. Time for the steaks to go on the grill. If you guys use these silicone grill mats, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. We are not very good at caring for our grill, and so we use these just to make life easier, but I haven't really done any research on how, like, what is cooking on these doing to my food kind of deal. All right, steaks are on the grill. We're gonna get those going and leave them be.
You turn that one went off already, huh?
Well, that
Oh, you're cooking
burner.
on that side.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Alright.
cook on this side.
Okay. Sorry about that.
They're all done. I already temped them. They're good to go. I just need a little sizzle. They're gonna be a little overcooked, I think. That's the seasoning. It just.
Which one did you use? Great dinner. This is nice.
Great
Thank you,
dinner.
honey. Great dinner.
Right dinner.
We've got T-bone steak, fresh homemade bread,
They're
green
not
beans
strangers,
from
they're
the
viewers.
farm. What's that?
They're not strangers, they're viewers.
Yeah, they're not strangers.
And the bread, is that from the wheat we grew out of the pasture?
Definitely. I was just out there threshing it this morning to
Perfect.
get the grains off. And now I'm going to sit down and chomp. All right, friends. It's 7:45 and I am exhausted. But these just these microgreens have been on my to-do list since yesterday. So I've got to get them done today in hopes of being prepared for my next coming events. So I've got 2 trays here. Now typically microgreens are grown in like a half-size tray that's more shallow, but I haven't chose to invest into those yet because I have so many of these full-size trays, and I want to wait until I earn enough money selling microgreens to invest in those trays. So it takes a bit more soil to do it this way, but I don't quite fill them up all the way, especially with the sunflowers, because their stems are pretty long and I can harvest them well. So what I've got tonight, I've got black oil sunflower seeds, and this is a 10-20 tray. So I'm gonna put, this was 5 ounces of sunflower seeds that I soaked earlier today, and then have had in this strainer so that they just dry off a little bit. Makes it a little easier to do the seeding. So I'm getting these seeded. Now today's Wednesday. These will not be ready for my event on Sunday, but they will be at a good stage to use as a demo. So they'll be just moving probably from the germination stage to the blackout stage. So people will be able to see what it looks like when they've germinated, but I'm blacking them out to get them to stretch out a little bit. My sunflowers over there, it's really frustrating, not sure what's happened. I took a few months off of microgreens, and things have just not been growing the same as they were earlier in the spring and winter. Obviously the growing conditions like temperature and humidity inside our house where I grow these are different this time of year, and I used a different soil, so lots of things, variables that could have played a role in my poor success the last couple of weeks. But I just got to keep going because, you know, as you make mistakes or as things go wrong, not to say that a mistake was necessarily made, but you learn from those things and you just got to keep going. So sunflowers are ready, and next up we are going to do broccoli. I've only ever grown broccoli, pea, radish, and sunflowers, so I don't have a ton of experience to say broccoli is my favorite, but thus far out of those 4, broccoli is, oh, I gotta even the soil out a little bit more. Broccoli is by far my favorite. All right, friends, these still need to be watered. I'm then gonna set these trays one on top of the other with another tray on top of that to add some weight, which really pushes the seeds down into the soil and forces their root growth downwards. But I'm gonna be really honest, I'm way too tired to film that, and I promise I'm gonna get it done though. So thank you for hanging out with me till the very end of this day in the life with me as a modern homesteader and a little bit of my family. Now, I want you to keep in mind, I work full-time during the school year. I work in public education, but right now it's the summer, so I'm not working in my day job. So I've had all day with me and my boys to get all these things done. And that is one reason why I'm able to accomplish all of this, but not every day is this productive. And especially not so during the school year when I've got my full-time work. Thank you again. It really means a lot to me that you're hanging out with me, and I look forward to bringing you some more content soon. Have a great night.